Hi class, so now we're in the topic of internal control processes. So napag-usapan na natin about internal control. Nagkaroon na tayo ng enough introduction, what is internal control, and napag-aralan natin na merong mga inherent risks or meron ng mga risks talaga sa isang process, and yung management ay nag-i-establish ng internal control. So ito medyo history siya. So parang ang mangyayari is titingnan natin ano yung mga iba't ibang paradigms pagdating sa internal control. So, meron ditong i-represent na 6 paradigms of internal control. First is the COSO on internal control. So, ito is galing kay US. Then, Turnbull on internal control kay UK. COCO on internal control galing kay Canada. And systems or cybernetics model of internal control. Then, fifth is the control by division with supervision. And lastly, the control by category. So, ito yung isa-isahin natin i-discuss kung ano yung concept nila of what is internal control, how it can be achieved, mga ganun. So, first is the paradigm 1, which is the COSO. So, COSO means Committee of Sponsoring Organizations. COSO on internal control. So, sila yung nagpaano ng 5 essential components of internal control. So first is the control environment, risk assessment, control activities, information and communication, and monitoring. So dito, pinapakita na ang internal control ay merong 5 components. First is, merong dapat control environment. Ito yung tinatawag na internal environment, or ito yung pinaka-foundation component ng mga iba. Kumbaga parang, if yung control environment itself is not okay, mas malaking chances na mag-fail yung other components of internal control. Ang control environment pertains to the tone at the top in terms of examples set by top management. So, ito yung kumbaga, sa isang company, ito yung ginagalawan nilang environment. So, ito is kung ano yung naging values, ethics, and culture and commitment ng organization and its members. Kumbaga, ito yung sinet mismo ng top management na magiging control environment. So this also pertains to the attitude and actions of the board and management regarding the significance of control within the organization. So the second component naman is the risk assessment. So ito yung napagdaanan natin sa midterm natin about paano mag-assess ng risk, diba? Sabi natin, risk can be inherent feature of operation. So hindi mo mawawala or matatanggal na there are risks sa isang process. So in risk assessment, dito pumapasok yung identification of all risks. So, tinitingnan natin lahat ng possible risks na pwedeng mangyari dun sa isang operation or isang process. It is an ongoing process sensitive to the implications of changed market conditions, operational workloads, macroeconomic parameters, etc. Kumbaga, ang risk assessment is not only one time na ginagawa. It is an ongoing process since in case mayroong mga changes in market conditions, sa operations, the way they handle yung process, magkakaroon din ng new risk or mga changes sa ating risk. So, it is important to perform risk assessment regularly. Hindi lang siya one time na pagka nag-start yung isang company. Lastly, identification of risk should be prioritized and control objectives established in every case. So, tulad ng ginawa natin, in every risk that we identify, we establish what is the control na dapat meron para ma-mitigate natin yung risk natin. So the third internal control component according sa ating paradigm 1 COSO. So third is control activities. So control activities pertains naman dun sa mismo procedures na ginagawa para ma-establish yung control or ma-mitigate yung risk natin. It needs to be accurately defined and effectively communicated. So this pertains dun sa mga manual, mga procedures, mga job descriptions na hanggat maaari is established in written form. Kumbaga, para hindi yung pasalin-salin lang ng words, mas maganda na in written form ang ating mga procedures and user manuals, yung job description. So, di ba na-mention ko last time yung job descriptions? It pertains dun sa roles and responsibilities ng isang position. Kumbaga, dun nakalagay, ito yung mga dapat mong gawin. So, paano ito naging internal control component? Sabi natin, control activities pertains dun sa mismong ginagawa nila. Kumbaga, ito yung nakaset na dapat nilang gawin. So, andun yung user manual, andun yung job description. So, essential that some form of trail of control activities is maintained as evidence of appropriate application of the procedure. So, importante na makikita natin kung nagawa ba nila yung kanilang document, ay nagawa ba nila yung actual na nasa manual. So, for example, ang sabi sa manual is nire-review ni supervisor yung gawa ni staff. So, dapat merong audit trail na makikita like through email by review, meron bang signature. Kasi ito yung magiging proof natin na nagagawa naman talaga yung internal control set by management. 4. Information and communication. Information should be reliable in terms of accuracy and completeness. Kumbaga, we're talking about dun sa ating mga internal control, importante, nako-communicate natin siya. So, inaccurate or outdated data will affect management's ability to make the appropriate decisions and control the business. So, when we communicate into the management na ito yung mga results, dapat accurate to, di ba? Data should be authorized and secured. And the company should establish management information system or MIS wherein ito yung magiging system na madali nilang makakapag-extract ng reports pertaining dun sa mga data na in-input nila. Okay, so lastly, the last component of internal control is monitoring. Monitoring. Information systems should provide the principal means of monitoring the effectiveness of internal control system. Yung binanggit kong MIS kanina, sabi dito, itong MIS dapat capable siya to monitor kung effective ba yung internal control system. Board should have the final responsibility for the operations of the organization, and evidence of review of system of internal control should be available, such as internal audit reports, summaries of significant control issues, or minutes of board meetings. So, dapat regularly nade-review yung internal control. Okay, so doon tayo sa paradigm 2, Turnbull on internal control. So, ang perception naman or parang concept ng Turnbull on internal control pertains to board should maintain, so si board daw dapat mag-maintain ng sound system of internal control to safeguard shareholders' investment and the company's assets. So, it focuses on the kumbaga yung paggawa ni board na dapat meron siyang sound system of internal control para ma-ensure na yung investment to shareholders and yung assets ng company ay being safeguarded from kumbaga sa mga possible risks, pwedeng mga fraud, di ba, na pwedeng mangyari sa company. So according to the code provision, at least annually, the company should conduct a review of the effectiveness of the group's internal controls and should report to shareholders. So dito sa Turnbull, pinropose nila actually na dapat meron daw kasama ng external report, di ba, yung mga audited financial statement. Gusto ng Turnbull on internal control na merong ding report pertaining sa internal control na effectiveness review. Kumbaga parang ganon. So, dapat daw i-conduct yung review and i-report sa shareholders. So, paano mo may-report sa shareholders? Ito is dapat kasama ng mga published na document na pinapakita sa shareholders tulad ng external na tulad ng audited financial statements na prepared na external auditors. Review should cover all material controls, including financial, operational, and compliance controls, and risk management systems. Then, it encompasses the policies, processes, tasks, behaviors, and other aspects of a company taken together to facilitate its effective and efficient operation by enabling it to respond appropriately to significant business, operational, financial, compliance, and other risks to achieving the company's objective, to help ensure the quality of internal and external reporting, and help ensure compliance with applicable laws and regulations, and also with internal policies with respect to the conduct of business. So, overall, Turnbull on internal control focuses lang naman dun sa, gusto lang naman yung ma-safeguard yung investment ng shareholders and ng assets ng companies by annually reviewing its effectiveness and reporting it to shareholders. Okay, so the third paradigm is the COCO. So, COCO naman, ibig sabihin, Criteria of Control Board. So, Criteria of Control Board on Internal Control. So, ito, sabi dito, less mechanical and more behavioral than the COSO, yung number 1, COSO Internal Control Framework, and has advantages in application within the organizations that are more participative and less hierarchical. So, mas applicable siya kasi kumbaga itong paradigm 1 to 6 natin, sinasabi na parang any naman is pwedeng i-apply since approved naman na gamitin ni SEC, pero kumbaga parang nasa company din kung alin yung mas applicable for them. So according naman dito sa COCO and internal control, there are 4 internal control components. First is the purpose, next is the commitment, third is the capability, and fourth is the monitoring and learning. So according dito, a person performs a task guided by an understanding of its purpose. Kumbaga, parang kung alam ni empleyado kung ano ba yung gagawin niya, ano yung purpose ng ginagawa niya, mas makaka-help na ma-manage yung internal control. Kumbaga magawa, maging effective internal control. And supported by capability. Capability means the tools to do it. Kumbaga bukod sa alam niya kung anong gagawin niya, mayroon siyang given tools para magawa yung dapat niyang gawin. The person will need a sense of commitment. So another internal control component is the commitment or wanting to do it, to perform the task well over time. The person will monitor his or her performance in the external environment to learn about how to do the task better, about changes to be made. So yung monitoring and learning is the last internal control component under the COCO paradigm. So it means naman, are we going to do it? Kumbaga parang given na, let's say nagkamali siya, namomonitor niya if or nalilearn niya if moving forward, ito ba yung dapat niyang gawin? Kumbaga parang matitake note niya if ano yung mga core improvements din niya. So under the COCO paradigm, may time for internal control components. We have the purpose, commitment, capability, and monitoring and learning. Okay, so the fourth paradigm is the systems or cybernetics model of internal control. So the main elements of a system according here is the input, process, output. So we're all familiar with input, process, output. Input is what we kumbaga pinasok natin, process is the process or the procedure, output is the outcome. So systems control concept. So ngayon i-discuss natin yung mga system control concepts. So first is the control object. Control object is a variable of the system's behavior which is to be monitored or controlled. So ito yung control object, actually similar siya with the risk. Kasi isa siyang variable, isa siyang possibility na mangyari na dapat ay mino-monitor or kino-control. Next, detector. Detector is part of the systems which measures or monitors the control object. So ito is parang control. So control object pertains to risk. Detector is similar with control, di ba? Kasi parang siya yung detector. Siya yung, kumbaga, makakakita or mamomonitor yung control object. Third is the reference point. Reference point is similar naman to criteria. Kumbaga, parang ito yung standard. Kumbaga, parang, let's say, ang risk mo is possible na, ayan, na possible na yung dumating sa yung item na shinip is hindi parehas dun sa natanggap natin. Ang detector mo is yung three-way matching mo nung iyong PO versus DR, mga ganun. Tapos reference point naman is ano ba yung standard? So ang standard is dapat equal to or pare-parehas siya. So that is reference point. Number 4, comparator. Comparator makes the comparison and assesses whether or not it is significant. So if there's a risk na na-identify, comparator, tinitignan naman niya yung kanyang probability and also the, like, yung parang laki ng impact ng risk na nakikita natin. Activator means it takes the decision which is intended to restore actual performance to what is desired. Okay. So sa fifth paradigm naman natin is control by division with supervision. So sinasabi naman nito na yung isang buong organization can be kumbaga effective control is ma-achieve natin by means of appropriate combination of various opportunities to divide together with supervision. So meron tayong dito division of duties. So for example, may pinapagawa ko dito, dapat kumbaga merong magre-review sa kanya. Basta parang well allocated, kumbaga yung mga duties na and responsibilities within the organization. Next, division of fundamentally incompatible responsibilities. So it pertains to segregation of duties, kumbaga incompatible, hindi pwedeng samahin sa isang tao. Tapos next is division of operations, then division of staff, division of data entry and accounts posting, authority. So dito siya papasok sa division of authority, yung mga two-way. Yung dalawang beses na approver, multi-level approver. Kumbaga parang dapat yung authority, even though given sa isa, dapat meron pa rin mag-check minsan or depending on the situation. And division of time. So, dito sa last paradigm natin, control by category. So, dinidivide naman niya yung control into different category. So, first, we have preventive control. So, ang preventive control is, kumbaga, linagay na natin siya dyan para hindi na mangyari yung risk as in, hindi na siya mangyari. So, it's designed to limit, kumbaga, para hanggat maaari, hindi na mangyari or hindi maging possible yung undesirable outcome. So, nagsiset na tayo ng preventive control. Next, preemptive. Preemptive naman means yes or no controls that require approval before processing can proceed. For example, dapat may mag-approve muna. So, mag-yes or no muna. So, that is preemptive control. Next, directive. Directive naman pertains to design to ensure that a particular outcome is achieved. So, ang ginagawa ng directive control naman is parang, sige, meron tayong goal na dapat ganito yung mangyari. So, somehow, lahat sila is motivated to do that and it comes out na parang isa siyang directive control. Next, performance naman is designed to orientate and motivate the organization's people to focus on the achievement of target. So, similar with directive, meron din silang fino-focus. Pero ito, more on the motivation of people. Next is detective control. So, ito yung post-action or post-event wherein nangyari na yung transaction, then at the end, tsaka lang natin siya chine-check. Next is corrective. Corrective naman is nangyari na talaga, then gagawa ka ng control to correct it. Last is the investigative. So we try to understand, so ito yung investigation phase wherein nangyari na yung control, and para hindi na ito maulit, we need to provide a route of recourse. So to determine whether internal control is effective, we have to consider these two questions. First, have any outcome occurred which indicate that internal control has been ineffective? And second is the internal control process robust enough to give reasonable assurance of the achievement of management's objective? So to have a sound approach to addressing the second question, we need to review the robustness of POSA's 5 essential components of internal control: the control environment, information and communication, risk assessment, control activities, and monitoring. So as to be able to conclude that the internal control can be expected to be effective. So that's all for the 6 paradigms. So somehow, di ba, parang may idea na tayo beforehand of what is internal control. So these are additional knowledge pertaining lang dun sa iba't ibang paradigms and iba't ibang kumbaga concepts of internal control. So thank you so much. Bye-bye.